and welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Shivangi Mishra. Let's begin with the headlines first. Pakistan's endless economic woes. Employees protest against the authorities in Muzaffarabad of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Annual Rath Yatra of Lord Jagannath attracts devotees from world over. Let's begin the show. The unexpected news of the IMF loan rejection has struck and already devastated Pakistan with jolting disbelief. With Pakistan now losing $6 billion from its future plans, a monumental fiscal tragedy has hit the Shehbaz Sharif government, which was already grappling with a multifaceted crisis of record inflation, monetary imbalances, and low forex reserves. The loan rejections also come in the run-up to the general elections, further complicating the already chaotic political landscape. Join us as we discuss the ramifications of the IMF's loan rejection for the Pakistan, a country already teetering on economic, political and social collapse.
Pakistan's economic situation is worsening amid the growing political uncertainty in the country. The Islamic nation has cut its GDP growth estimate for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 to 0.29%, from an earlier estimate of 2%, raising concerns of an acute economic crisis. In the aftermath of the devastating floods in 2022, and the political chaos that erupted in the aftermath of Imran Khan's ousting and arrest, Pakistan's $350 billion economy has nosedived. Recently, the country's foreign exchange reserves had also dropped to $4.19 billion, barely enough to cover 1 month of controlled imports. Adding salt to the wound, the IMF rejected Islamabad's demand of $6 billion of external financing requirement based on new current account deficit data. The requested funds are crucial for Pakistan to avert a balance of payments crisis, and most analysts believe that even after the expiry of the current program, Pakistan will have to seek a bailout in the upcoming fiscal year in order to avoid defaulting on debt obligations. The 220 million people of Pakistan have been suffering due to economic turmoil in the country. Prices of essential commodities are skyrocketing. The country registered record high inflation of 37.97% in May of this year. Pakistan's currency has also depreciated as part of the IMF conditions to bring the country in line with the market-based exchange rate. Political and economic uncertainty in Pakistan have left people facing issues such as unemployment, inflation, and load shedding of cooking gas and electricity.
की जो हुकूमतें नाल हो चुके हैं, हुकूमत कर नहीं सके क्योंकि सियासी बुरान भी है और माशी बुरान भी है। इस वजह से लोड शेडिंग गैस की अलग है तो बिजली की अलग है। बिल ज़्यादा बेच देते हैं और बिजली होती नहीं है और लोड शेडिंग इतनी ज़्यादा कर देते हैं। लोग और हम सब लोग परेशान हैं कि इसके लिए क्या करना चाहिए।
गैस बंद पड़ा हुआ, अरे बच्चे का दलिया तक भी नहीं बना, छोटे मासूम बच्ची का हमारा, अब गैस का क्या करें? यही तो कह रहे, सुकून दे दो हमें, गैस भी दे दो, बत्ती भी दे दो, वे सुकून ही करी हुई है। क्या क्या कैसे हुकूमत से क्या कहें हम?
The future of Pakistan appears bleak as the tussle between the army-backed Pakistan government and Imran Khan, the ousted former prime minister, continues. Many predict that the situation could further worsen for Imran Khan, who has been charged with 100 cases and is likely to be tried in military courts, which are notorious for human rights violations and other forms of grave crimes. Imran Khan has accused the military and its intelligence agency, the ISI, of working overtime to destroy his political party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. He said that he had no doubt that he would be tried in a military court and thrown in jail.
I have absolutely no doubt that the military courts are meant for me. They will have the guys who are being tried, they will have get someone to approve, become an approver who will say that it was Imran Khan who instructed us to conduct arson. And then they will try me in the military court. Because that's the only way they're going to get me into prison. Because all the cases so far, 150 of them, the moment they go to court, they are so bogus cases, frivolous cases, they get thrown out. So their only hope, and because they are determined to get me out of the way, I think the whole charade of military courts is to imprison me in the end.
Pakistan is slowly becoming a failed state due to political and economic instability, rampant corruption, and growing interference of the military in civilian affairs. As the country is expected to hold general elections this year, the political situation is expected to become even more hostile and volatile.
Scores of yoga enthusiasts in India and Nepal performed various asanas or yogic postures on 9th International Day of Yoga. An ancient practice that connects the body, breath and the mind, yoga involves uses of physical postures, breathing exercises and meditation that are helpful in improving overall health of an individual. Recognizing its universal appeal, the United Nations proclaimed 21 June as the International Day of Yoga. Let's take a look at how Yoga Day was observed in India and Nepal this year.
International Day of Yoga is celebrated every year on 21st June around the world. It serves as a global platform to raise awareness about the various benefits of yoga. The idea of observing International Day of Yoga was first proposed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his speech at the United Nations General Assembly in 2014. This year, the global celebrations of International Yoga Day was led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the United Nations headquarters. The theme of Yoga Day this year was Yoga for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, yoga for welfare of all. The theme very well expresses the spirit of yoga, which unites and takes everyone along. The day was celebrated with much enthusiasm in different parts of the country.
Yeah, I'm feeling very proud that I'm in Kashmir and I'm practicing yoga because it's a very vital role. It plays a very vital role in our life because it improves our mental health, physical postures, our breath and mind, and it's very good for health to do yoga every day.
Observing Yoga Day on higher altitudes and rocky terrains, the Indian Army performed yoga asanas at the Pangong Tso in Ladakh. Similar scenes were observed in Sikkim, where the army personnel performed yoga and marking the 9th anniversary of the occasion. Meanwhile, Defence Minister of India Rajnath Singh performed yoga along with the Chief of the Naval Staff Admiral R. Hari Kumar on board INS Vikrant.
मुझे अत्यधिक प्रसन्नता है कि मुझे आज इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योगा दिवस के अवसर पर इंडिजिनस एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर आईएनएस विक्रांत पर आप सभी मित्रों के साथ बैठकर योगा करने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है। साथियों, आज सिर्फ भारत में ही नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस को बेहद उत्साह के साथ मनाया जाता है।
In Nepal, a large number of yoga enthusiasts perform asanas in Pokhara of Nepal as a part of global celebrations. The Indian Embassy in Kathmandu, in coordination with Nepal Tourism Board, organized the event. Tourism Minister of Nepal Sudan Kirati, along with Indian Ambassador to Nepal Naveen Srivastav, graced the event.
योगा गर्न, प्रकृतिको मनोरम दृश्य हेर्न, भारतका आदरणीय दिदीबहिनी दाजुभाइहरूलाई हामी हार्दिक निम्तो गर्दछौं। चर्चित भूगोलविद टोनी हेगेनले यसरी भन्नुभएको रहेछ, नेपालको जस्तो प्राकृतिक सुन्दरता, प्राकृतिक मनमोहक दृश्य सायद संसारमा छैन भनेर। यो अनुपम दृश्य निहाल्नको निम्ति म योगा दिवसको उपलक्ष्यमा सबै भारतीय नागरिकहरूलाई निम्तो दिन चाहन्छु र हार्दिक स्वागत गर्न हामी आतुर छौं भन्न चाहन्छु।
अगर हम अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योगा दिवस को हर साल पोखरा में मनाएं तो इससे पोखरा एक योगा का सेंटर बनेगा और इसके लिए भारतीय दूतावास गंडकी प्रदेश सरकार के साथ, नेपाल के संस्कृति मंत्रालय के साथ और पोखरा मेयर के साथ मिलजुल कर हर साल 21 जून को हम कोशिश करेंगे कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योगा दिवस इसी तरह भव्य रूप में यहाँ मनाया जाए।
In recent years, yoga has gained huge popularity worldwide due to its ability to enhance overall fitness. The International Yoga Day is observed with great enthusiasm not only in India but all over the world.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch. An ancient artifact dating back to the Assyrian Empire was exhibited in Baghdad after being returned from Italy. The tablet was brought back with Iraq's President Abdul Latif Rashid after his last visit and was handed over during an official ceremony to the Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Antiquities. Speaking during a press conference, Rashid said the ancient artifact would be returned to Iraq's National Museum. According to Iraq's Minister of Culture, Ahmad al-Badrani, the tablet is of great importance for several reasons, including because the text in cuneiform writing it displayed was complete. It will now be translated, Badrani said, before being put on display for visitors at the museum. Over the last years, Baghdad's returned thousands of artifacts to Iraq. Thousands of anti-government demonstrators marched through Colombia's major cities to protest the economic and social reforms pushed by the government of leftist President Gustavo Petro. A crowd of some 5,000 people marched through the capital, Bogota, according to local authorities, where some protesters carried banners emblazoned with slogans such as "No More Petro" and "Petro Out." Petro is facing an uphill battle in Congress to push labor, health and pension reforms after his majority coalition disintegrated due to the government's refusal to make changes to their proposals. Opponents to Petro's pension reforms argue that they could negatively impact Colombia's finances and hurt job creation. Petro has recently been caught up in a scandal over accusations of alleged illegal financing during his election campaign, which he denies. The Lebanese women's national basketball team is training hard in preparation for the prestigious Women's Asia Cup next edition taking place in Sydney, Australia later this month, hoping to raise spirits of a country decimated by a financial meltdown. The national team secured promotion to the first division of the tournament after winning the Division B Women's Asia Cup in Jordan in 2021, where they beat the host nation to win gold. The last time they played in Division A of the Women's Asia Cup was in 2011 in Omura, Japan. Now, their target is to remain in the top 7 out of 8 teams in order to stay in Division A, or else they will be relegated to the lower division. Experienced and new players make up the team this year, and they all said they are excited for the possible impact they can make during the upcoming tournament. Lebanon is suffering from an unprecedented financial crisis dubbed by the World Bank as one of the deepest depressions of modern history. Moving on. The government employees in Muzaffarabad city of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir took to the streets against the authorities for the non-payment of their secretary allowances. They further demanded increase in their salaries and to make the employees on an ad hoc basis permanent. The high inflation in POK is another worry for the employees and other residents as they are unable to fulfill even the basic household necessities. We have a report.
A large number of government employees from various departments took to the streets of Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. They demanded a 100% increment in their secretary allowances compared to the allowances paid to the government employees in the Punjab province of Pakistan. The employees were on a 7-day strike against the government in POK for injustice done to them by the bureaucrats. Apart from the demand for secretary allowances, the employees want their colleagues who have been appointed on ad hoc basis be given permanent jobs. They complain that some of them have worked for over 20 years on meager salaries, but still they were not given permanent jobs in their respective government departments.
पिछला एक हफ्ता से हमारी अपने मुतालबात के हक में हड़ताल हमारी जारी है। इस वक्त भी आप नहरों की आवाज़ सुन रहे हैं। रैलियां जुलूसों की शक्ल में यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं। पिंडाल में थोड़ी देर बाद यहाँ जलसा भी शुरू होने वाला है। तो हमारा जो चार्टर ऑफ डिमांड है जिस पे ये जो एहतजाजी प्रोग्राम हो रहा है, ये मंजूर शुदा मुतालबा है। सेक्रेटरीट पहला मुतालबा है सेक्रेटरीट अलाउंस जो है 100%, ये जनवरी से पाकिस्तान में लोगों को मुलाजमीन को मिल रहा है, जबकि यहाँ ब्यूरोक्रेसी की हटदर्मी की वजह से ये लोग अभी तक अपने इस हक से महरूम हैं 100% सेक्रेटरीट अलाउंस से। और उसके अलावा अर्जी मुलाजमीन की कन्फर्मेशन का मामला है। लो कवरेज हो गए हैं, 20-20 साल लोगों की सर्विसें हो गई हैं। उसके अलावा आप डिसिप्लिन फोर्स जो पुलिस के लोग हैं, ये हमारी तंजीम को ये भी एजाज़ हासिल है कि पुलिस के राशन अलाउंस का मुतालबा भी हमें इसमें रखा हुआ है। इसी तरह के और छोटे मोटे मामलात हैं।
In these trying times of sky-high inflation, the employees are finding it hard to fulfill the very basic necessities of their households. They say the inflation has gone up by 400% in POK, and the authorities pay no heed to their reasonable demands.
400% महंगाई में इजाफा हो चुका है। तो मुलाजमीन माशरे का सबसे पिछड़ा हुआ तबका है, तो इनकी भी ये ख्वाहिश होती है कि अपना मेयार ज़िंदगी माशरे में बेहतर करने के लिए जो इनकी बुनियादी ज़रूरतें हैं, तो क्योंकि लोगों के अखराजात इतने बढ़ गए महंगाई की वजह से कि बहुत से नए मुतालबात भी जन्म लेते हैं महंगाई के तनाज़र में। तो मुतालबे भी जो मुलाजमीन करते हैं वो जायज़ मुतालबे हैं।
पंजाब में सेक्रेटरीट अलाउंस में इजाफा हुआ और एग्जेक्टिव अलाउंस में, तो एग्जेक्टिव अलाउंस जिनको मिलना था सेक्रेटरीज को उनको तो मिल गया, लेकिन हमारा जो दूसरे मुलाजमीन है हमें सेक्रेटरीट अलाउंस से महरूम रखा जा रहा है। हम कहते हैं कि इस तफरीक को ख़त्म किया जाए। सेक्रेटरीट से 1 से 22 तक सेक्रेटरीट के जुमला मुलाजमीन को यकसा कोक दिए जाएँ और मुलाजमीन की तनख्वाहों में खातिर ख्वाह इजाफा किया जाए। इस वक्त 400 गुना महंगाई बढ़ चुकी है। अद्वियात की कीमतों पर टैक्स आए रोज़ लगे जा रहे हैं।
Exploitation of basic human rights and labor rights has remained a common scenario in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The people of POK have carried out several protests against the stooge administration of Pakistan in the past, but there are hardly any instances when their demands were met. The residents of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir are saturated with anger and frustration. Regular protests in parts of POK have now become a mere medium to vent out anger against the Pakistan administration.
Now we take you to India's holy town of Puri, where the famous Rath Yatra or Chariot Festival was celebrated with immense devotion. Dedicated to Lord Jagannath, his sister Subhadra and brother Balbhadra, the annual procession is one of the biggest and most widely celebrated occasions in India. Though it is celebrated with the same fanfare in the different parts of the country, the one held at Puri is just beyond comparison. Take a look.
The annual wait is now finally over. When the 3 chariots travelled along the grand road, Jai Jagannath chants could be heard across the Indian beach town of Puri. These ceremonial processions and chariots in red and yellow are parts of celebrations of the Jagannath Rath Yatra, a grand celebration of faith and devotion. a pool of Hindu devotees thronged Puri to celebrate the Jagannath Rath Yatra, which is dedicated to Lord Jagannath, his sister goddess Subhadra, and his elder brother Lord Balbhadra. Popularly known as the Gundicha Yatra or Chariot Festival, it is one of the most anticipated festivals in Odisha as well as nationwide. The Rath Yatra begins with the idols of Lord Jagannath and the idols of his divine siblings being taken out of their home at Jagannath Temple. Placed on huge decorative chariots, the three deities travel to Gundicha Temple, said to be the abode of Lord Jagannath's aunt, where they stay for 9 days and later they come back to the Jagannath Temple. It is believed that the Chariot Festival is observed across the country to unite people and foster peace and harmony in the world.
He's the only deity. He's so unusual, Jagannath. He comes out, he's the only deity that comes out of the temple just to see us, even though he's so exclusive the rest of the year. Once a year, he comes out to see us. Jagannath is different than any other form of Krishna. He's my personal favorite incarnation of Krishna, and he is just amazing.
During the festivities, the city saw a flurry of activities as people danced and sang in the streets to the sounds of gongs, cymbals and drums while pulling the chariots of the gods with long ropes. It is believed that pulling the rope of chariots adds to good karma, and those who do this get relieved from all types of sins and attain salvation. As the procession moves forward, a wave of spirituality and euphoria sweeps the entire city. The devotees feel enlightened and their emotions run high at the moment they get a glimpse of Lord Jagannath and his siblings. The Trinity travel in their respective chariots, which are named Darpadalan, Taladhwaja and Nandi Ghosha. Taladhwaja, chariot of Lord Balbhadra, Darpadalan, chariot of goddess Subhadra, and Nandi Ghosha, chariot of Lord Jagannath. Each of these chariots has 9 Parsava Devtas surrounding it. They are painted as wooden representations of different gods on the sides of the chariots. Additionally, each chariot has 4 horses attached to it, each of which is drawn by a different color horse. For example, Balbhadra's horse are dark, Jagannath's are white, and Subhadra's horses are red.
एनर्जी और जो भी उनका भक्ति भावना के साथ जो वो लोग खींचते हैं, इसमें ये एक डिवाइन एक्सपीरियंस महसूस फील होती है. इसको मैं एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर सकता.
Numerous pujas and rituals take place during the Jagannath Yatra. Not just in India, even devotees from outside were seen as extremely devoted towards Lord Jagannath as they participated in the grand procession. Calling him the Lord of Universe, the devotees expressed their immense joy of being able to witness such a holy yatra.
I'm coming to Puri for Rath Yatra because Jagannath is coming out of the temple to see his bhaktas. I am one of his bhaktas. I want him to see me. I want to chant Jai Jagannath to give him some pleasure, some happiness, some anand to see his bhaktas.
And it's extremely overwhelming to be here in the midst of so much devotion, so much love, a river of love, and the Lord is coming out for all of us to give his mercy.
Given the enormous crowd that had assembled to take part in the celebrations, the festival site was placed under strict security, with police officers keeping a close eye on things throughout the Rath Yatra. The Jagannath Yatra is a cherished event that strengthens spiritual connections and celebrates the rich cultural heritage of Odisha.
It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We'll be back next week at the same time. This is Shivangi Mishra signing off on the behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.